Hi everybody. Okay, this is one of the most important things that we're going to learn how to do in the process of this course. I've never tried to do a studio or a presentation specifically on this, but the presentations that we've done for the class have worked out so well that I figure what the heck, we'll give this a shot. And what this is designed to do is to help you produce the perfect APA paper, because we do put an emphasis on that, and it's something that a lot of people seem to struggle with frequently. So I thought I would put a little thing together here just to show you from A to Z exactly what we're trying to accomplish. This will help you not only in this course, but if you hang on to this information or download this video and the rest of these files, it can help you in all of your courses that you're going to see throughout your program. The place to start with this is the APA Help tab within the course. And if you click on that, you're going to see any course that you have with me is going to have these pretty much these same files here. We'll start at the bottom and work our way up. The Purdue OWL, whoever funds these guys, they're well funded and a very well used resource. There are tons of resources here that Purdue puts out that has a lot of information for APA and a lot of information for English writing. It's almost like an online writing lab. There is an APA poster in here that kind of helps you through some of the tips, and it's kind of like a quick reference guide, if you will. As soon as this downloads, we'll take a look at this. This is again another Purdue OWL kind of thing. Discusses formatting and text citations, how to do references, that sort of thing. So that's pretty cool. Get back to where we were. How do I get back to where we were? There we go. There is an article here on scholarly versus popular articles. One of the easiest ways to really kind of give a faculty member a twitch is to turn in stuff where you're citing dictionary.com or citing Google or citing Wikipedia or something like that. What you have to understand is that, and especially in today's online environment, anybody can put up a fancy looking website and claim that they know what they're talking about. Scholarly articles, and a lot of that I'm gonna encourage you to look on ProQuest, and if ProQuest is a mystery to you, maybe that's a topic for another video. But if you look on ProQuest, you're gonna find what they call refereed journals, professional journals, trade journal articles and things like that. Those are really the best places to turn to for information. While Billy Bob can get on GoDaddy and put up a website in a matter of 5 minutes and say anything, these are articles that are written and submitted and are reviewed by others in the field before they're ever published, which sort of lends credence to their credibility. So scholarly articles will have a lot more credibility than something you're going to find somewhere else. There's an APA sample paper here that probably goes into a little bit more detail than you're going to need. And then here is a link for Citation Machine. Citation Machine is really cool, especially if you're not familiar with referencing things with APA. What you do is you go here, choose your style. Here's APA, and if you just follow what you're doing here, it will lead you through and provide you with an in-text reference and an end of your paper citation. Let's see if we can. I'm looking around here to see if I can find a good example. I can't, so we'll make one up. Let's cite a book. just for an example. So click on book. First name, okay, I wrote a book. And I'm the author. If there's more than one author, you can click here. Book title, oh, you know me, I'm all about Basset Hound. So let's say we wrote a book called The Complete Basset Hound. There really is no volume edition or page numbers. The city, and remember this is the city in which it was published. So we'll go to Moon Township. Usually this is stuff that's found within the first couple of pages of the book, and that's in PA. Publisher is RMU Press, and the year is 2015. There is really no chapter title, so we'll go there and create citation, and what it will give you at the end is this. You can copy and paste into your paper, and that is exactly what it should look like at the end of your paper. Now somewhere here, or at least it used to could, check paper, Anyway, you know that within the body of your paper it will be the author and the year, unless you're quoting, but we'll get more into that here in just a little bit. So that's what Citation Machine can do for you. Now, Microsoft Word claims that there are some things in Word that will help you create references and in-text citations and all that. Trust me, I've seen people try to use that. It's best to do this and sort of do it freestyle or freehand, as I call it. Now, this, within your class under APA Help, there's a reason that this is in red, all caps, says use this. What I've done here is I've created a template for you that will solve 80% of the problems that you're going to have with APA. If you click on this, you will see down here at the bottom, depending on which version of Word you're using, that it will save a file down here called APA template. Drag this over to your screen and open it up. And what you have here is a perfectly formatted document in Microsoft Word, that follows all of the APA guidelines. And when we're talking about the guidelines, we're talking about Times New Roman number 12 font. We're talking about running heads and page numbers. We're talking about no spaces, no line spaces between paragraphs. We're talking about 1-inch margins all around, and we're talking about how the references should go at the end. So when you go to do your paper, you open up this blank template, okay? Double click here in the header. Running head stays there on the first page, and you put the title of your paper here. And on the first page, that's it. It's in all caps. Title of my paper. And the page numbers are already done for you. Now, to get out of this header, go anywhere else on the paper, double click. Put the title of your paper again here, your name, RMU, the name of the class, and the date. Now, you have to mess with this header twice, and the reason is because if you look, we get back into the header, if you look up here, it says different first page. And that is because there is a subtle difference between the first page and the second, and the rest of the pages, is if you scroll down, you will see that the word running head have disappeared. So you do have to go to the second page and put the title of your paper in one more time. And you can just do that with a real quick copy and paste. And then double click somewhere else. The content of your paper goes here. I didn't put any references here because we're going to talk about that here in just a second. Then you go all the way to the end and, copy and paste your references from Citation Machine. This would be the place to go back to, and I clicked out of Citation Machine. So anyway, go to Citation Machine, copy and paste over what we showed you. Now, that takes care of APA as far as structure. Now let's talk about APA in terms of content. And to help you with that, I do have an example or two here. Open this up a little bit. You'll see running head, all caps, with the page number, the title page laid out exactly the way we wanted it laid out. And now let's talk a little bit about citations and references. Here's the way this works. Anytime something comes, anytime an idea or a thought or something comes from somewhere other than your head, you have to provide a reference for that. In scholarly writing, you have to explain where that thought came from, or basically who you're referencing when you provide this material. You do that in APA most of the time by providing the author and the year. And you can see how this is laid out. Author's last name, comma, which is right there, and the year of publication. This was, I think, a communications class that this example was in, and Shockley was one of the textbooks there. Now, once you have cited this, you give an author and a year when you do what's called paraphrasing. Paraphrasing is the best way to go. You only want to quote. The only time you really want to quote is when there's no other better way to say it. That you just can't impart the same idea unless you use that author's exact words. Otherwise, you're doing what's called paraphrasing. You're taking the material in the book, you're turning it into your own words, and presenting it to your audience. In that case, you provide the last name of the author, a comma, and the year of publication. Now, once you cite something, that citation right here lasts for an entire paragraph unless you change sources. So once I cite Shockley here, I can continue to talk about Shockley through the rest of the entire paragraph without citing it again. Now, if I quote, I want to include a page number. We'll get more to page numbers here in a little bit. You can see down here in this next paragraph that, once again, we're citing Shockley, and this is just another way to do it. Here I've got the author and the year all in parentheses. Here the sentence structure was better by giving the author's name, but then you want to make sure that you've got the year in parentheses. But looky here, this is a quote. So at the end of the quote, you've got a page number from where the quote came. Now, you'll see, according to Shockley, 2012, and a comma, punctuation always goes after the parentheses. Okay? And down here again, punctuation goes after the parentheses. There's no more punctuation here. If you close the quotation marks, the ending quotation mark goes before the page number. So you've got your sentence, close the quotes, give the parenthetical page number, and then close the sentence with a period. It sounds like a lot to take in, but trust me, once you start writing this way, it almost becomes second habit. There are a lot of different ways to do this. this person could have, instead of citing, instead of listing a page number here, you can get rid of that. Now, if you get rid of that, punctuation goes inside the quotation marks. If there's no parenthetical reference there, it could have gone here, 2012, comma, page, space, 36. This, whoops, wait a minute. See, everybody makes mistakes. Caps off, P. This is another perfectly valid way to do this. Or they could have just taken the whole thing. Let's not lose the comma there. And put it at the end of the sentence. Now, what am I missing here? That comma becomes a period. This period completely goes away. That also is a correct way to do it. No matter how you present it, the important thing to remember is that if you're speaking, if you're paraphrasing, it's the author and the year. If you're quoting, it's the author, the year, and a page number. Now, you're going to say, but I got this off a website. There is no page number. Two different ways to do this. Let's say Shockley was the author of a web page. One way to do it, and both of these are accepted by APA standards, would be to simply put N period, P period. That is a designation that stands for no page. Believe it or not, it's that simple. Or, if you really want to work for it, you could also count paragraphs. Let's say this is a website. So we're 1, 2, this is the third paragraph, and I'm citing something out of there. You can go PARA period 3. That tells me that it comes from the Shockley material, that it was published in 2012, and that it comes from the third paragraph of that website. Clear as mud so far, right? Are there any other good examples here? Let's open up a second one. See, this looks exactly the same. Again, we're talking about Shockley. So we've talked about Shockley all the way down through that paragraph. Here's another example of a quote done a different way. And then at the end, you can see this is going to be the kind of information that you're going to generate from Citation Machine. Now, the thing to remember about Citation Machine is, like any other database, garbage in, garbage out. Make sure that you're putting in the right information. And I'll give you a really good example. For some reason, I haven't rehearsed this, so you're kind of getting this raw. But let's try, I saw somebody do this one time. Salvation Army. Just to look at a website. I remember this because we used it as an example in a course. And there was they have some articles here somewhere. Let's look at, it might have been Housing and Homeless Services. Yeah. Let's talk about, how would you cite this? Let's say that you're picking some information here out of this. And just for giggles, let's go back and pull up Citation Machine. And I'll show you how to do one of these. We're in APA still. And if you look down here, we're going to cite a website. And let's say there's some information here that I want to pull in. Okay? what is the article title? Well, we're going to say Housing and Homeless Services. And now's where it kind of gets weird. They expect an individual to be a contributor. Well, okay, where's the individual who did this? If you're looking at a website and you're curious about who the author is, and it doesn't automatically show you, one of the things you can do is scroll way down to the bottom and find out who holds the copyright for the website. And you can see the copyright on this is held by the Salvation Army USA. So we're going to go to last name, because that's what's always cited, and we're going to put in the Salvation Army USA. Website title is the same as the article title. So we will put that over, well, let's do it this way. Copy, paste. And the publisher, again, is the Salvation Army. So a little bit of this is redundant. Display URL, yes. And the date published. You really cannot tell other than the fact that it's copyright 2015 and the date accessed 2015, and today just happens to be December the 30th. So, create citation. That is what it's going to look like. Now, let's see. I do want to check one thing. Display the URL. It doesn't show it because I didn't put it in. We do request that you put those in there. Now, let's do that again. There we go. So your citation at the end of the paper, you're just going to go copy, go back to your Word document, right-click, paste options. We want to catch the formatting to the extent that we can, just to make our lives a little bit easier. We will unitalicize that. And that's what that would look like. Yeah, that's what that would look like at the end of your paper. Now, in the body of your paper, it would look like this. Let's say that came from right here, and it's a paraphrase because we don't have a page number. We come in, we paste that. And the citation would look just like that. See, it's really easy to do this. Now, let's say we did a quote from here. All right. That means you got to have quotation marks. Let's say that came from the second paragraph there. I can either go, what is it? N period, P period, or I could go back and go paragraph 2. Either of those would be correct, and that is exactly what that sentence would look like. That is probably enough at this point. If you follow what I've done for you here, to really get you going in terms of how to get this APA stuff off the ground and avoid making a lot of mistakes. And guys, listen, I know this is a pain in the butt, but unfortunately, a lot of schools nowadays don't think it's their job to teach you to write. Well, by the time you get to the end of a graduate program, it is expected that you're going to know this. So one of the things we're going to do in this class is we're going to learn how to do it. And I promise you, if you learn this as we go along in this course, in your subsequent courses, do this, use this, follow this, and you will blow your faculty members away because they're not used to seeing this done properly. So if you have any questions about any of this, get in touch with me. I don't mind a bit if somebody's really interested sitting down and spending some one-on-one time with you in an online format here and just walking you through some things to clear anything up. So that said, happy writing. I hope you looked at this before you turned in your first paper, and I will know in a heartbeat who has watched this and who has not based on what it is that you're turning in. So good luck and happy writing.